Hey friends, before we dive into this week's episode, just a heads up. Our podcast talks about suicide, sexual abuse, and other trauma, and some of what you hear may be triggering, so please listen with care. This is The Survivors, real stories, raw conversations, and the truth about what it means to keep going after the hardest things. We're so glad you're here. Let's keep surviving together.
So you and I talked about this a lot, that we don't want to just be talking about surviving suicide or surviving mental illness or a lot of the other issues that we talk about. We want to really kind of broaden the conversation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you and I are both moms. We are surviving parenthood. We're surviving marriage. We're surviving, a lot of different things that we can talk about. And so now it's the holidays.
Right.
It is actually officially, I'm looking here, it's Christmas Eve. Can't even believe that it's Christmas Eve.
2025.
2025. We are like it's a poof. So we're talking about surviving something a little bit different for the holidays. We're going to talk about surviving the financial burden of the holiday, because I don't know about you, but all I feel like I hear is the cha-ching, cha-ching, like in my brain around this time of the year and leading up to like today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's expensive. There's no other way to say it. It's expensive and it weighs on you. And if you're already stressed in any way going into the holidays, which a lot of people are, and we've already talked a lot about this, all the way back to Thanksgiving and emotional stress and not being joyful in the holiday season. But thinking about the financial burden of just getting through the holiday season, boy, does that add to it. Damn it. Like really just adds such a thick layer. Where is your head at? I know you're now not doing like the big Christmas with the whole huge extended family of yours, right?
Yeah, because we moved to Virginia earlier this year.
Right. So
that helps a lot.
Yeah, so you're not traveling there.
No, after Monroe died in March of this year, and even before then, I was like, I don't know when I'll be back. I just, again, after, losing most of my family because I'm speaking publicly about my life, there's not really much of a draw for me to go back there, to be perfectly honest. So there's a heaviness there. But I can't remember if we went back in 2020 for Christmas, but we driving across the country during the holidays from Virginia to Utah, 0 stars. Do not recommend.
Yeah, not going to do it. Thanks for the tip. Not doing it at all. Got nobody in Utah. Wouldn't even go if I did. So, right. I mean, look, we have family in Florida, and this year, this Thanksgiving was one of the first years since the pandemic. We had to obviously be split up. Everybody had to be kind of in isolation for those couple of years. But aside from that, like we hosted for 20 years, and I had everybody to my house. And then after that, when our parents started getting older, we would now have to go down to Florida, which is where, fortunately, both sets of parents, mine and Dave's, are in Florida, and everybody's pretty close together. But it means flying down during vacation, which means you're paying the absolute most for everything that you can possibly pay for. And it means you've got to factor in all of these other expenses on top of an already pricey holiday. We did not go down this year because both my daughters are teachers, but my youngest, who lives here with us in Boston, couldn't get away. Her boyfriend couldn't get away for more than a couple of days. So all of a sudden we're racking up these charges, looking at flights. It was going to cost us, for the 4 of us to fly down for like 48 hours in Florida, not even out the door yet, it was going to cost us $5,000 to fly down there for like 48 hours. And so we were like, this is absurd. This is ridiculous. We can't do that. You and I are in different parts of the world right now. I'm in Japan at the moment. And I mean, I don't even want to say what the price tag for 4 of us flying here for the holidays has been. But like, that's what we've had to do is put all of our resources into prioritizing and doing that. And it's stressful. It's
Absolutely.
really, really stressful. You know, I was looking at the numbers because I love looking at numbers and stats. And I was looking at numbers from what the average family spends for the
Uh-huh.
holidays. And it's like between Thanksgiving to New Year's, I think it's like 2,800 or close to $3,000 per family. If you're a family of 4, just on like gifts and decorations and activities. And if you're flying anywhere, forget it.
Right.
Double
Double
it,
that.
triple it, add on like another couple grand, few grand. I really kind of sometimes wish we could go back to that time where the holidays were about, you know what I used to love? One
Hmm.
of my favorite, so we celebrate Hanukkah because we're Jewish. Do you know what one of my favorite gifts was from Hanukkah? 2 things.
Hmm.
My mother would get me the book of coupons from McDonald's. It was like, we don't have stocking stuffers, but my mother would get me like a silly little, you know, I was always getting like 8 gifts because it's 8 nights of Hanukkah. And I would get my little coupon book from McDonald's. And that meant I could go in and get as many fries as I wanted. And she would get me, do you remember that they used to give they were like books of lifesavers? Do you remember that? There were these books. They were like little boxes, little cardboard boxes, and it looked like a book, and you opened it up and it had like a dozen different varieties of lifesavers. I don't know why. It probably cost $2.87. It was my favorite gift
Any
because
particular reason why?
it was a book full of lifesavers that I could eat. That's why it was my favorite thing. And like, I like really, I miss those times when things were so simple. Cause now it's like your kids want electronics and you got to get them a pair of Birkenstocks and Uggs and a new Switch. And it's hard. It's
But we
really,
never do that. We
yeah,
don't. George
yeah.
and I am just going back to work
Mm-hmm.
for the first time. Well, I've tried to go back periodically through the years, and it's usually 6 to 8 months. I've done that 2 or 3 times since my kids were born. But
Mm-hmm.
primarily, I've been a full-time mom, so
Yeah.
living on a single income. And so things have been tight for us a lot of times. There was many Christmases where George and I didn't get each other anything other than little stocking stuffers
Mm-hmm.
because we couldn't afford to.
Well, for years, I mean, for years and years, Dave and I haven't exchanged gifts. We don't do birthday gifts. We don't do anniversary gifts. We stopped doing that a long time ago. And I wouldn't say that it was a financially motivated decision, although I guess it kind of was because we were really just saving whatever resources we had to put into doing things for the kids or getting things for the kids. We're big into experiences instead. So we would go somewhere or do something special, or you know, he and I have always been runners, so we would go somewhere and do a destination run or something like that where we could make memories at that time. And maybe it wasn't getting on a plane, maybe it was getting in the car and driving somewhere fun and doing that. So we it wasn't really as much a financially motivated decision, but we haven't exchanged gifts like that in a really long time because it's kind of like we're at the point where if we wanted something we could kind of go out and get it.
Mm.
And you know, I've been wearing the same jewelry for ever and ever and ever because it's what I love and it's simple, and I'm not the kind of person who's, you know, going out and buying expensive anything
Right.
really ever. And yeah, I don't know, but it's hard because we live in a really affluent area here north of Boston, in this little harbor town that is it's a quirky place, and it's got a lot of old money, and our kids growing up, they knew their friends were getting, you know, the BMW with the big red bow when they turned 16, and they belonged to yacht clubs, and everybody for every holiday was, you know, going to Aspen for Christmas or going on some extravagant cruise. And you know, we were never those people who had unlimited resources like that. We worked for everything we had. We both came from middle class families, and our dads busted their asses, and our moms worked. But it's hard. I feel like there's still this shame that people have to survive and figure out and navigate. The shame of of seeing what other people do, especially like around the holidays, where we live in this social media bubble where,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about do it for the gram. It's all about, showing where you are. I mean, I happen to be out of the country right now, and I'm kind of being a little bit of a hypocrite in this moment in this conversation, but it's different because I have a child who lives abroad, and we save up all year to be able to be together over the holidays. So, it's a little bit different where we're concerned. But I mean, I don't know about you. Did you know a lot of people who were like living off equity lines or credit cards? I knew a lot of people in my town who did a lot of keeping up with the Joneses, and they were maxing out credit cards to join country clubs. They were going into debt to make sure that they had a boat in the harbor. I mean, did you have that experience? I mean, you grew up in a different place. You grew up in a very different kind of environment as a member
Right.
of the FLDS.
I mean, as I got older, yeah, I grew up in Utah, where keeping up with the Joneses, that originated there.
Mm,
The Mormon culture is so about what it looks like on the exterior. So, absolutely, are people living above their means with a camp trailer and a boat and all the things in their driveways? 100%. Yeah.
okay.
And so, yeah, I definitely know that people, and, unfortunately, in where I grew up, you weren't taught how to handle money very well. So I know that my parents went into debt for a number of things to try and survive. And then when we were finally able to celebrate Christmas, it was cool, but it was still relatively small with so many kids. I know that there were pictures, and they limited it to like 2 or 3 gifts per person, and it's
Mhm.
still the gifts spread out halfway into the living room. It was insane.
Well, there were 20 kids in your family.
Yeah,
So,
at most, I think there was like 15 of us, but still, yeah, it's a lot, absolutely. And we did move back to Utah for 2 years, my husband and I and the kids. And those 2 Christmases, it was a lot harder to keep up with it, and, I definitely know that we went into some credit card debt just to make sure that we had gifts for every single person, and
mhm,
it's not sustainable, to be perfectly honest. And so this year, uh, it's just the kids and I think I might send yeah, gonna send something to my brother Ward, but beyond that, sorry, folks, George and I, we have a plan, and we're saving up to buy and build, or to build our house here, our dream house here in Virginia. And it's about making sacrifices. And even though now that I have a full-time job, we can spend a little bit more on Christmas, because we've tried
mhm,
the whole experience things the last couple of years with the kids
mhm.
for the holidays, and they don't love it. They feel ripped off. I'm like,
You're like, "Come on, guys."
yeah. So, I mean, heck, last Christmas we were down in the Florida Keys. Okay. Last year we did a full-time RV journey, and my kids just didn't think it was that amazing. I'm like, I am 40 freaking years old and I'm here for the first time, and y'all are just like, it's okay.
Let me tell you something. You get that attitude from them again, you give me their spot. I will go. I will go.
I mean, we were staying in a camper, but still, we're this gorgeous blue water, and I guess they're still in the
They're
mindset
kids.
of the things. Which again, it's
Mhm,
not like we've ever spent an exorbitant amount of money on gifts, but I
mhm.
think it's just the culture we live in, and it's the things, and it's really hard at trying to find the right gifts. The older they get, it gets so hard. Did you find that? Like, I have
Yeah,
videos when they were younger, and they just everything was, well, mom, and now it's like, cool.
yeah.
Looking for mental health resources that actually fit who you are and where you come from? Then you need to check out the HelpHUB. It's not another generic wellness site. It's a free, inclusive online platform built for real people living real lives. People managing stress, anxiety, depression, trauma and abuse, grief or suicide loss. At the HelpHUB, you'll find the resources, tools, treatment options, and trauma-informed content you need in the moment without having to dig through endless tabs or start from scratch. It's your place to land, to take a breath, and to find exactly what you need when you need it most. Visit thehelphub.co, where the help you need is just a click away.
Yeah. I totally get that. And it's interesting because a long, long time ago, my mom always used to give me like 8 gifts for Hanukkah, but it was like I would get books and I would get the McDonald's gift certificates and
Mhm.
the book of lifesavers and all the other little things and socks or whatever it was that I got. And I'd get like something fun here and there. And so we've always kind of done the same thing with our kids. We always let our kids tell us what's one thing that you really, really, really want. And that was kind of the thing that we would save up for, that we would get for them. And then the other things were like little things where all the kids around them, like it was hard. You talk about like comparison culture. All the other kids around them were getting major
Mhm.
high ticket items. And we told our kids, look, we live in a place where you're going to see your friends have a lot of things that you don't have. And maybe you'll have some things that other friends don't have. So we're not keeping up with anybody. So our kids kind of knew that going into their early adulthood, teens and into adulthood, they knew that we just did things differently. But I feel like you and I talk a lot about the whole illusion of being fine and mental health and
Mhm.
wellness and surviving and what that does to your overall wellness. And we don't just pretend we're fine with things like emotions. We also do it in this financial bubble too. We
Mhm.
pretend that, oh, we're totally fine. And we ignore the credit card bill that's coming at the end of the month. And we pretend that we've got unlimited resources and we don't want to disappoint our kids. But the truth is that there's a lot of shame for a lot of people attached to the idea of financial pressure. Feeling like it's another layer of failure. And that's a lot. I mean, I know that at times, as a parent, like you want to be able to give your kids either the things that you didn't have or all the things that they may want and of course the things that they need, but i- there comes a point where you really have to be realistic and pick and choose. And I feel like there are a lot of people, at least maybe people that I know in my life, who are really just all about the smoke and mirrors. And I can't imagine how much stress that puts on people. I
Yeah.
wish I wish people would just find the strength to be like, this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. You know?
Yeah. And it's okay. Here's the thing, and this is a big thing. Are you surrounded by the people that you love and that bring you
Mm,
joy? And I
mm,
hear that all the time. It's about the people, not the things. But still, there's just this underlying, nope, it has to be the biggest and the grandest. And I love social media, but I hate it at the same time because it has really just added to that pressure of making it look real. And now,
mm,
as we're doing what we're doing, and I've had to become a content creator.
mm-hmm,
Oh yeah, I keep pretty clean house, but there's still just like, oh, this is the part of my house where it looks the best.
mm-hmm.
As you notice, I'm in a different background. I'm actually having to film in my son's bedroom because we were dealing with echo stuff.
I know.
So it's really just a matter of, you know what, blocking out all the bullshit around you and
Mm,
saying, what can I actually afford?
mm-hmm.
And what is not going to break the bank and bring the pressure. It really comes down to people have got to stop worrying about what other people think and what else. Because guess what? Doesn't fucking matter. It is
That's right.
none of your business what other people think of you.
Mm-hmm. That's on them. That's
Hmm.
100% on someone else. And if someone is going to judge you or your family, I don't mean you,
Right.
Natasha, I mean anyone, based on where you spend the holiday or how big your tree is or what gifts you got your kids. I don't know about you, but that is not somebody that I want to be aligned with. That's not somebody I want to care about. So you and I come at all this. I don't know about you, but do you have a totally different perspective about just what matters and what doesn't as a survivor?
Oh, 100%. And especially after the last 5 years and everything that we have been through has
Hmm.
absolutely shifted my perspective on so many things.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Material things don't matter. Absolutely don't matter.
Mhm.
For me, it is about whether we're in a and you mentally, that is the biggest factor in my life at this point. And I looking at my mental health and being like, what can I handle? If if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't be there for my family, my children and my husband. When I say my family,
Mhm.
I can't be there for them in the way that I need to be. So if
Yep.
that means that you're taking as the mother, because so much of the holiday pressure falls on the mother's shoulders, and all those mothers out there that are buying gifts for her extended family, the husband's extended family, and it just gets to be too much. Stop it right now. Stop it.
Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah,
have to say about stop it.
we're both saying stop it. Everyone should stop it. And I wish people would. I mean, uh, one of the things that I've personally done an awful lot of in the last number of years it is make things more about presence, like your presence, your
Mhm.
focus, your energy, your time, than about the gifts that I give. I try to make things meaningful. I try to make things very intentional. And like I know for my own kids, Dave and I have said this to our girls for I don't even know how many years. It's probably going on like a decade or more at this point. We don't want any presents from them. I don't want a gift from them. I don't need a birthday gift. I don't need a Mother's Day gift. I don't need any of those things. I value the time that my kids spend with me more than I value absolutely anything. There is no gift, no object that they can give to me short of like, the old like pinch pot that's completely crooked and doesn't even look like a pinch pot that they
What's a
gave me
pinch
that they
pot?
may. You don't know what a pinch pot is? What, did you grow up in Utah as a member of the FLDS or something and don't know what a pinch pot is?
That's fact I did, yes.
A pinch pot is clay. It's just like a little clay where you don't put it on a wheel. You just have your little blob of clay and you just kind of pinch a pot out of your little blob of clay. Or maybe you roll out the clay into what look like little ropes of clay and you wind them around so it makes a little pot. That's a pinch pot.
I
When we
have no
stop
idea what you're talking about.
when we stop recording, I'm going directly to YouTube and I'm sending you a video about pinch pots because this is ridiculous that you don't know what this is. Well, those are the things that like the pictures my kids would draw or paint that
Yeah.
had like Dave's head was huge and you know,
I have huge
my
bins,
hair.
like huge bins for each of my kids from stuff from when they were little.
Yeah, so do
Save it
I.
all. Yeah.
And that's the stuff that matters. So, all right, let's talk about what we can do to just kind of let go of that financial stress, to like survive the financial stress, because there is actually a way to survive the holidays without going broke and losing your mind. I know there is because we've done it. And the truth is that most of the memories that our kids hang on to didn't cost a thing. They
Mhm.
don't cost anything. They were small, they were simple little teeny tiny things, they were real. But we've already said that somewhere along the way we got sold this lie that we have to spend thousands of dollars to make the holiday meaningful, and that's just complete and total bullshit. So, what can you remember what would be one of like a really meaningful memory that you had growing up that cost nothing, either that you made with your kids or that you had as a kid? Do you remember?
Well, for me and my children, a tradition that we have on Christmas Eve is we make the cookies for Santa Claus. Fresh, homemade, from scratch cookies.
I love
And
that.
we make those and we put them out on the plate. We have this one plate that I found at Goodwill, and it's a Santa plate. And then always, and this is something I picked up from my mom, is carrots for the reindeer.
Oh, that's
So it's
cute.
the cookie, the milk, and then carrots for the reindeer.
Oh,
And then I don't know where my mom picked it up, but then she would go, and she did this for my younger siblings because, again, growing up in the FLDS, we weren't allowed to celebrate Christmas and do all the Santa things.
mm.
But she would get dog food and sprinkle it out on the grass or on the snow and make it look like reindeer poop.
Oh, that's really cute.
So my mom did a lot of cute things for Wardy and Shaylin that she didn't get to do with us, which is fun. But it's just little things like that. And in
Mm.
the kitchen, there's so much magic that can happen in the kitchen.
I'm so
Right
glad you
there.
said that because I wish my girls, I'm going to have them listen to this part of this episode because when they were little, my youngest wanted to be a chef for the longest time. So anything involving the kitchen, she was the first one on the scene, always there. We have such incredible memories. My oldest could kind of take it or leave it. Like she was always the one who would enjoy it when I got her to do it.
Mhm.
But we do have some absolutely beautiful memories. Like it's so funny when my mom's been living in Florida now for the last 30 years, over 30 years. And so that's where we go to visit the family. And I can picture my kids, especially my youngest Libby, would the minute we would open the door and get into my mom's house, the bags would get dropped and she would immediately run into my mother's closet and grab the little apron. My mom had, little aprons for
Oh.
the girls. And so on goes the apron. Libby used to run around with a bottle of Fantastic and a roll of paper towel cleaning. That was her thing. That was her greatest
Oh, I
joy.
love that.
Paper towels, Windex, and then she would immediately go into the kitchen and grab my mom's big mixing bowl and try to get my mom into the kitchen as fast as possible. Gammy, what are we making today?
Um,
And did the same thing with my mother-in-law. And they have these beautiful memories. And for me, it's about setting holiday tables. Like I always remember
mhm.
when they were little, getting them involved in writing place cards and setting tables and making cute little centerpieces and all that stuff. And that's what I loved. Those are the things that stick out the most. So things that don't cost anything at
Mhm.
all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So okay, before we wrap up this conversation, let's make this super super practical for people. If the financial pressure is crushing you and you're trying to survive and you've gotten here to this point, you got to get through the rest of the holiday and then there's New Year's that's next week. So here are a few things that you can do if you're still feeling kind of crushed by the weight of it all. Set a real budget, a real one, not the fake one that is the budget that keeps up with all the people around you. Set a budget that your family can handle without considering what any other family is doing or spending. And don't feel guilty about it. And don't make explanations for it. Start a free tradition.
Mhm.
Start some kind of a free tradition. Maybe do like a before dinner, after dinner walk, or maybe it's like pajama movie night on New Year's Eve or during the holiday. Just to do some things, or maybe you go to a shelter as a family, and you give back. You're not just doing something that's free; you're actually giving back, and you do that as a family.
Nothing opens up your eyes like a situation like that, especially
Ain't that
for kids these days.
that is the truth. Um, And it's sobering. It's really, really
Mhm.
sobering when you realize how much more we most often have than the other people around us. Stay off social media. Even if it makes you feel like crap, stay off social media because 90% of the time when you're on social media, especially over the holidays, all you're doing is comparing what your table and your life and your holiday is looking like against everybody else's. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to your kids. If you're really, really struggling this holiday season, ask for support.
Mhm.
Ask for support and maybe it isn't even financial support. Maybe it's emotional support. Just let the people around you carry a little bit of the load. And you're also allowed to create a quiet holiday. There is
Mhm.
no there is no right way or wrong way to do the holidays. So doesn't matter how big your family is or small your family is, whatever suits you is what's right for the holidays. Or at least that's how I have started to feel about it, and I don't really think I'll ever go back to feeling any other way about it. I'm so over comparing my life to anybody else's life. Um, that's how we feel like we fall behind and we're letting people down, and that burden becomes so heavy.
Comparison is truly the thief of joy.
It is,
100%.
it's awful, and, you know, you don't need to spend a lot of money to make your holiday
Mhm.
meaningful. So
handmade gifts and things
Yeah.
like that. Just the little things, really.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So if the financial pressure of the holidays has been suffocating you at all right now, you're not failing. Just have a mind shift and know that you don't have to keep up with anybody else. You really don't.
Nope.
Nope. But we want you to have a happy Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and whatever it is that you're doing to celebrate the holidays. We're really glad that you at least took, 30 minutes out of your time to spend a few minutes with us. And hopefully this helps take a little bit of the pressure off.
And if all else fails, if you feel like, you know what, it wasn't as magical as you thought it could be, have a dance party with your kids. They
Yeah.
will, if they remember nothing else from the holidays, I swear. And the crazier you dance and act for your kids, the more they love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this one thing though. My older kids do not like when I do that at this point. So that advice is for parents with younger kids. Works like a charm.
Nope, I'm
Older
going to do
kids,
it. Nope, the cringe will live on in our house
good for
forever.
you. Good for you. You make them cringe no matter what. Hey, I'll keep surviving if you keep surviving, okay?
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Okay, too. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening and for being part of the survivors community. No matter where you are in your story, you're not alone, and you're definitely not broken. Healing takes time, and it looks different for everyone. The fact that you're still here and still trying means you're already doing the hard work. If something in today's conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it too. That's how we keep these conversations going and remind each other that there's always hope.
And if you or someone you know is struggling, please remember, help is always out there. You can call or text 988 anytime to reach a trained crisis counselor like me. And for more mental health resources, tools, treatment options, and content to support your mental health, visit thehelphub.co. We're so grateful you're part of the Survivors family, and we'll be back next week with another honest conversation about life after the hardest things. Until then, take care of yourself and your people, and keep surviving.